So, Michael, before we end here, I want to go back to the framing of the first question that I asked the Chancellor, Daniel Diermeyer of Vanderbilt. And this was this idea that there could be a new set of a new competitor or set of competitors to what we've always thought of as the most elite Ivy Plus institutions, right? Even when we think about the Ivy Plus, that is even still that is a closed kind of club. So this idea that, Vanderbilt, I will tell you, right? I mean, this living up in Boston is a much different institution today than it was 30 or 40 or 50 years ago. It is talked about in a way that it hasn't been. It is talked about in these elite circles that it hasn't been, like it hasn't been in the past. It has a lot more overlap applications, even with the Ivy League. Is this possible? Do you think it's possible to have a club, whatever you want to call it, to that in 25, 30 years, we're going to be talking about a different set of institutions, just like we talk about the Ivy League, and maybe Vanderbilt is part of that? Is that even possible?
Well, the fact that you gave me 30 years, I think makes it possible,
Oh, okay.
because the reason I'll say that is, like, I don't think it's an overnight reset, right? It's going to take continuous activity in this direction, because I think in many ways, the other thing that has given those institutions the role that they play in society, certainly nationally, not necessarily locally, that's a separate conversation, but nationally, is the alumni networks, right? And the power that they exert disproportionately. And you would point out it's not the only way to get into those networks. You do that well in your book, but two lottery tickets for every one is like I think that's the way you put it in the book, is like a pretty, those aren't bad odds for a set of institutions that educate not a lot of the American public. And so, but over the course of a generation, could those alumni networks look very different? I don't see why not, right? It depends on how much do they perpetuate themselves, and frankly, how much are those alumni networks asking some big questions
I was just
now as
wondering
well?
about that same thing, right? Like, were they just as upset as the potential students who want to go into those alumni networks eventually?